Hey there, friends. Today we're going to be talking about mood, and we are going to need the poem Since Hannah Moved Away by Judith Viorst. Even though I've handwritten this, I am not the author, Judith Viorst is. And you have two options. You can either A, pause the video here and handwrite this into your notebook as well, or if you have the option, go ahead and print off a copy of this from your Schoology notebook or Schoology page and glue this into your notebook, and you'll save your hand a little bit of handwriting. But as you can see, I had to handwrite it. And once you get this handwritten, or pause it now if you need to handwrite it, and then hit play when you're ready to move on and join us in the rest of this lesson. So today we are talking about mood. If you've not added it to your table of contents, you probably should. And when we talk about mood, someone might come along and say, man, you're in a mood today. And usually that means how you're feeling, or how the author, in this case, how the author wants you to feel. And before you ask, yes, the answer is you need to write that down. So go ahead and for your title, write mood, and then you write down how the author wants you to feel. Because this is basically the whole point of mood, is what emotion, what feeling is this poem making you feel at this time. Then the other thing I'm going to remind you of is that we are annotating this poem. And when you annotate a poem, what that means is that you are basically making notes on the poem to help you understand it. So I'm just going to write right up here at the top, because I have some blank space right up here, that to annotate is to write notes on the poem itself. Now, if you're reading a library book or a really old book, I would highly suggest that you not write on that. But if this is like a printed off copy of the poem and you're trying to understand it a little bit better, writing on it and annotating it is a really, really good idea. Okay. So here is the poem Since Hannah Moved Away by Judith Viorst. The tires on my bike are flat. The sky is grouchy gray. At least it sure feels like that since Hannah moved away. Chocolate ice cream tastes like prunes. December's come to stay. They've taken back the Mays and Junes since Hannah moved away. Flowers smell like halibut. Velvet feels like hay. Every handsome dog's a mutt since Hannah moved away. Nothing's fun to laugh about. Nothing's fun to play. They call me, but I won't come out since Hannah moved away. So earlier, I believe last week, we talked about word choice, and that is a big part of what helps us with our mood. So I'm going to go back through this line by line and start paying attention to the words that the author is using in order to better understand the poem. The tires on my bike are flat. Well, if the tires on my bike are flat, that means that I can't go anywhere, which means that's not very fun. It's not going to be a very good thing. I'm usually actually kind of annoyed and upset and maybe even a little angry when my bike tires are flat, because that means that I have to go pump them up, or I'm not going to be able to do what I wanted to do that day. Then my next line says the sky is grouchy gray. Well, grouchy is a pretty easy one. That is an automatic word that makes me know when somebody's grouchy, they're kind of depressed and they're sad. So that word right there, word choice, tells me that he's depressed and sad. At least it sure feels like that since Hannah moved away. So already in this first stanza, we're noticing that the author is not having a lot of fun. They're kind of depressed and sad. It feels like it's always grouchy gray, even if it isn't. So they're feeling that way. Chocolate ice cream tastes like prunes. I don't know if you guys have ever eaten prunes, but I prefer chocolate ice cream. And if the chocolate ice cream tastes like prunes, that's kind of gross. It's ew. That means that it's not very good. It's not the good tasting chocolate ice cream. Then this whole line, December's come to stay. Well, normally I think about Christmas in December and having a winter break. However, a lot of times in December, things are really cold as well. And I'm pretty sure that's what the author is going for. So it's cold, and a lot of times dreary, not a lot of fun. It goes back to that grouchy gray sky up here. And they've taken back the Mays and Junes. So that means that the author doesn't feel like there's any more summer fun. So there's no more. Oops, there goes my lights. No more warm and fun summer. Oh, right, small, Miss Rogge. There we go. All right, so we have no more warm and fun summers. So already the first stanza kind of makes me feel depressed and sad. We have gross tasting ice cream, somebody who doesn't feel like there's going to be any more fun summers and that it's always going to be cold and dreary and depressing. Then we move to the third stanza, and we start with flowers smell like halibut. And if you don't know what halibut is, it's a type of fish. And if my flowers smell like fish, they don't smell very nice. They smell kind of gross at that point because I like cooking fish. I like eating fish, but I don't like my flowers to smell like fish. And then velvet feels like hay. Velvet's a very soft cloth that people love to wear as clothing because it feels so cool. But if anybody's ever sat on hay during like a hayride in the fall, you know it starts getting a little scratchy, a little itchy. The hay starts poking you in different places and it's uncomfortable. So our velvet feeling like hay tells me that the author wants me to think of scratchy and painful. Then every handsome dog's a mutt. So any dog that is not a purebred dog, we could call him a mutt. And basically that's saying that they look messy. Nothing's fun to laugh about. Nothing's fun to play. So both of these lines right here tell me that no more fun. The author doesn't think there's any more fun. They call me, but I won't come out since Hannah moved away. Now, the other thing I want to point out is we've had a lot of repetition, so hopefully you guys have been paying attention to that. Every stanza ends with since Hannah moved away, since Hannah moved away, since Hannah moved away, and since Hannah moved away. So we've got every stanza telling us that somebody moved away. And if my friend moved away, I'd probably not be very happy about it. I'd probably be pretty sad. So I would put down here the mood of the poem is, and how is the author wanting us to feel? How does the author feel about his friend Hannah moving away? The mood of the poem is, and I'm going to leave that. Well, no, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys, since this is our example. The mood of the poem is sad. Or if you wanted to use a higher academic word, you could say depressed or even unhappy. All of those would be very good reflection of what the mood of this poem is.